we are studying this chapter, Purushottama Yoga chapter 15 of the Gita, and we have completed 10, exactly half the number of verses of this chapter. And we are seeing this very, very deep and profound shlokas 7 and 8, where Bhagavan is saying that in this entire Brahmanda, the world of living beings, Jiva Loke, every Jiva is my Amsha. Mamaiva Amshaha. Mama Eva Amshaha Jiva Lokaha. And whether it is the Jiva ant or a Jiva, any Jiva in this multitude species, 84 lakhs, up to Hiranyagarbha Brahma. Brahmadev, who is the firstborn Jiva. Yeah? Bhagavan says, I reflect in each one of them. Yeah? Just as a mirror captures our face. Only the mirror will have the capacity to reflect the face. So to wherever there is a subtle body, in any Jiva, I am shining there. Is Bhagavan's statement in shloka number 7. Mama eva amshaha jiva loki jiva bhuta sanatanaha. And we saw the examples, how the one sun is shining in various spots of water. Yeah? Now, the face in the mirror is identical to the original face, and the reflection in the pot of water is also identical to the sun. Yeah? So, Bhagavan says that this part does not mean a fragmented part. Yeah? It is a part like the space in a pot. Yeah? Bhagavan is all-pervading and partless. We saw that in Mundaka recently, Nishkalam Brahma. Yeah? Then how can that, be fragmented into parts and located in the hearts of all the jivas? No. The understanding is just like we say pot space, the crest hall space, the garden space, the stomach space, the aerospace, Indian space, Russian space. How are we saying this? Because there are boundaries and walls that are demarcating as though cutting the space. Yeah? So here we see the pot walls. This is called Upadhi. Yeah? So it is a as though part. So really what the part is the whole. That is the message here. So look at how Bhagavan is giving us the Mahavakyam here. Yeah, I am in every jiva, and that part is really me. So right in shloka number 7, we have this Mahavakyam. But then what happens? Take the example of the pot jiva. Yeah, the space in the pot is now identified with the pot walls. And it says, I am a clay pot. I am only this much. So the pure consciousness, original consciousness is shining as the reflected consciousness in a reflective medium. Yeah? But then the nature of the reflection will depend on what? On the medium. Is the medium still and steady? Or is it impure and muddy? So the waters in the pot, if it is shaking and unsteady, the reflection will be unsteady. And if the waters in the pot is impure, muddy, or for some reason, reflection also will not be as bright as the original sun. So too, this reflected sentience in a jiva has got identified with the reflecting medium. Yeah, and because of the reflecting medium, it says, I am so and so. I am the son, I am the parent, I am the grandson. Yeah, and I was born in this kula with this nakshatra, gotram, and rashi, and this nationality. Now, even though the RC is the same as the OC, but it is got identified with Upadhi, exactly. And it has become the mortal Jivatma bird. Forgetting that it is really the Sakshi witnessing bird, pure consciousness. Yeah? Then what happens? once it's identified with the anatma, body, mind, sense complex, there is bound to be a karta. Karta will be a bhokta. And karta, bhokta, sukhi, dukhi, samsari, bird is what we have now. So this is the lot of the jiva. And so now in these, the next shloka 8, 7 and 8 together, they talk about this jiva, which is identified with one particular body and mind, is the traveler. Is the one that travels from one body to the next. It goes places, lokas, and janma after janma. This is the reflected consciousness called jiva. It travels. And we saw that example many times that the jiva is the traveler, and was boarded the train at birth. And it is proceeding now. Yeah, it is going, exhausting the papa, punya, karma, phalam. But when it arrives at the destination, then the jiva gets off and then takes his or her own luggage. No mix up. So the RC, what is the luggage and baggage RC will take? Manas Shashtani Indriyani. The subtle mind with all the latent vasanas and impressions of the past births, along with the subtle powers of perception, Jnanendriyani. That is the luggage of the jiva when the prarabdha for the current birth is over. And that is what we saw in 7 and 8. Karshati, the reflected sentient jivatma, draws the mind and the sense organs, and then Uttravati rises from the body. So now there is no actual rising or movement or entering another body. Did the space enter the pot? It's already there. It's already there. And so the pot body went back to nature. Sthula shariram is recycled. Yeah. But around that space, a new pot will come up. That is the birth. And it need not be of this size. It can be a glass, it can be a kulhad, something else. Yeah. Another jiva. So that is what was said here. Shariram yat avapnoti ukramati ishvaraha. That ishvara is the jiva in shloka 8. Yeah? Assumes a new body. Yeah? And this manaha and shashtani indriyani are prakritisthani. Means they belong to nature. They have, by the power of Maya, they have been put together. But now it travels, leaving everything else behind. The old tenement apartment is left behind. Another example to understand this is, the hardware-software combination. Yeah? When a hardware cannot support a software, what do? We change the hardware, right? So the old hardware is abandoned, electronic waste, yeah? And then we have the software and all the apps, they'll be downloaded in the new hardware, yeah? And then what happens there? And how does it leave? First of all, grihitva etani vayuhu gandhan iva ashayat. So just like the wind carries the fragrance from a flower, this reflected sentience or the jivatma who has the I notion. I notion will carry the mind and the subtle powers, and the next body is waiting. So the software is now going to be planted and plugged into the new hardware. Yeah. Now, why is all this happening? If we ask, one word, it is avidya. Yeah. On account of ignorance. I have identified myself with this body, mind, sense complex. And so till the I notion is there, then the RC or the jiva will assume body after body. That is why we say that Karana Shariram is the cause of Sukshma and Sthula. Karana Shariram is what? Ignorance. When that ignorance is removed, when the Guru says, Tattvamasi, you are original consciousness. And when after the systematic Shravanam, Mananam, Nidhyasam, that avidya becomes diluted and finally destroyed, then causal Shariram is not there anymore. Then no need for Sukshma, Sthula, Janma. Again. But now that's not the case. So in 9th and 10th, what did we see? This Jivatma in the new environment, in the new body, where the subtle powers are connected to the baby physical body, Upasevate. Upasevate means it will experience all the sense objects of the world through the Jnanendriya, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, with the Manas as the Adhishthanam, as the boss. No? Without the Manas, you can't enjoy anything. Vishayan Upasevate. Yeah? Now, so you see that in the 10th shloka, we saw that the Vimudhaha, those people who have a gross vision, they only have a Dehatma Buddhi. Yeah, they see the physical body and, the organs of knowledge and experience, but they don't see the RC. They don't see the sentient Jiva in the body. They will not think, how are the eyes able to perceive? Is there an eye behind the eye? They don't think like that. They see eyes are there, I'm able to see, period. Yeah? This is called the one, Vimudhaha is not a fool. Can be a great intellectual, a professor, but lacking Atma, Anatma, Viveka. Yeah? So, they're not doing inquiry. What is the eye of the eye, mind of the mind? They don't see the Jivatma enjoying, through the Jnanendriyani, and they don't see Utkramati, it rises from the body, now it's going to assume the new body, and even as it is there in the body, it is Gunanvitam, endowed with the Gunas. Yeah? Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. But the Jnana Chakshushaha are those for whom the eye of wisdom have been opened. That is the awakened mumukshus by the grace of Shastra and by the grace of the Guru. Yeah? And when they have done Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, they what? Pashyanti. Now, Pashyanti, can we see the RC and the Jivatma? No. So, Pashyanti is to be understood as understanding. Yeah? So, with the inner eye of wisdom that has been opened, now these Vivekis, they are able to see the subtle phenomenon that life just does not end with a dead body. They have done inquiry. Yeah? They have studied the Shastras and then they've listened to a Guru and been guided by a Guru. Yeah? So that was what we saw in number 10. Like supposing I said, you see my hand. You will say yes. No? Do you see anything other than the hand? There are other objects. But do you see the light? You don't. Nobody can see the light reflecting off the hand. But it is because of the light that you see the hand, right? Yeah. In darkness, we cannot see. No? Forget about that light for now. So, light has to reflect off a surface for my perception of that object. Yeah. But I don't see the light, but light is there. So too, these people, Vimudhaha, they will see only what? Anatma. Anatma, hands and legs and head and body parts. But they don't see what is illuminating and shining in this Anatma body. Atma, they don't see. But the wise people, Jnana Chakshushaha, they don't mix. Yeah? They have a clear understanding between what? Atma, Anatma, Drik and Drishyam. For example, when one says, last night I drove 80 kilometers an hour. But the Jnana Chakshushaha, the wise people, they're very clear. Did you really drive? You did not move an inch. You were sitting behind the steering wheel. The car went places, right? So even when I say I drove, I am clear that I did not move. The car moved. Yeah? I was instrumental. So the Jnana Chakshushaha are very clear. They can discriminate between Atma and Anatma. Okay? And that is why a lot of stress is laid on the jnanam part. Another example we give is supposing a very fair girl walks in. We will say, oh, look at her complexion, she's so fair. But a doctor student like Kumada, she would say she looks very anemic to me. What is the difference between the two perceptions? One is knowledge backed. Yeah, one is gross perception. You just see the color of the complexion, but there is no understanding. So that is the difference between gross and subtle perception. Okay. So that is what we saw so far. Now, 11th shloka we'll take up now, where Bhagavan says that for getting this knowledge, this subtle vision or nishtha, one has to put forth effort. Now, I've told you the story of Yagnavalkya, the great sage who was married, who had 2 wives, and he wanted to go for meditation and do tyaga, wanted to take up sannyasa. And then he gives upadesha to his wives and even divides the property and all that. Then the one of the wives, Maitreyi, says that, with all this wealth, will I get that, that Atma Tattva for which you are leaving everything? He says, no. Then what must I do? She asks. Then he says a very important thing. Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. We know that. Atma is the dearest thing loved by all. It is the sweetest thing. For that only we do whatever we do in life. A subtle mind will be able to see that. Then after that he tells her, Atma va are drashtavyaha, shrotavyaha, mantavyaha, nididhyasitavyaha. Atma has to be seen, my dear Are. It has to be listened to, shravanam. It has to be reflected upon, mantavyaha, and nididhyasitavyaha. It has to be contemplated upon. And that vakya, Yajnavalkya, Pujya Swamiji will talk upon that for 1 month. Atma va are drashtavyaha, shrotavyaha, mantavyaha, nididhyasitavyaha. That is what Jnana Yoga is all about. And so here in the next shloka, Bhagavan is describing 2 kinds of people. Both are putting forth effort, but one are able to gain this knowledge and one are not able to gain this knowledge. Let's chant that shloka. Yatanto yoginaschainam,
yatanto yoginaschainam,
pasyantyatmanyavasthitam,
pasyantyatmanyavasthitam,
yatanto yoginaschainam, pasyantyatmanyavasthitam,
yatanto yoginaschainam,
pasyantyatmanyavasthitam, yatantopyakritatmanaha,
yatantopyakritatmanaha,
nainam pasyantyachetasaha,
nainam pasyantyachetasaha,
yatantopyakritatmanaha, nainam pasyantyachetasaha,
yatantopyakritatmanaha, nainam pasyantyachetasaha.
Together, one time.
Yatanto yoginaschainam, pasyantyatmanyavasthitam, yatantopyakritatmanaha, nainam pasyantyachetasaha.
So, yatantaha yoginaha cha enam pashyanti atmani avasthitam. Second line, yatantaha, same word, api akritatmanaha na enam pashyanti achetasaha. Simple sentence. Yeah? So the first line is talking about those yogis, yoginaha, yogis, who are yatantaha. Yatantaha is striving, present continuous. Yeah, comes from the yam dhatu, to make effort. Yatnam karoti. Who are putting effort? Yatnam will be a yati. Yeah, and yatayaha are the yatis. And yatantaha is present continuous. Shatra pratyaya to be exact. Yatantaha, those who are striving, those yogis, Enam pashyanti. Enam is referring to what? Atma, exactly. Topic under discussion. So this Jivatma or the reflected sentience, Atma is the same as Paramatma. But when that Paramatma is reflecting in me, I will call it Atma, right? My Atma. That is Enam here. So those yogis who are putting forth proper effort, see this Atma. Where do they see it? Atmani avasthitam. What is that? Atmani. They have to take the buddhi meaning or the mind. Remember, I told you many times, Atman Shabda will take upon different meanings in different contexts. We have to be a little alert there. Atma is the all-pervading tattvam, but Atmani here is in the buddhi. Where can I discover that I am actually the reflected sentience? I have to discover it in my buddhi, right? Through understanding. So Jnana Yoga is to do with intellect. So Atmani avasthitam Atmanam yaha pashyati. They are putting forward the proper effort. Now, what kind of effort is that? So that is the effort that the whole Gita has been talking about. Karma Yoga, they have gained Chitta Shuddhi. Then they have lived a life of devotion, Saguna Brahma meditations. They have studied the mind. They have Prasada Buddhi. They have mastered the sense organs. They are doing Yajna, Dhanam, Tapas. And they have come to Jnana Yoga. Now they are guided by the Guru and they're also doing Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. This is what Yajnavalkya tells his wife. This is the route to gain the Atma Jnana. Okay, so such yogis, they see these yogis, they will not see Bhagavan only in Pandaripura or Tirumala or Kashi, Vishwanatha. Bhagavan is there definitely, but that is a Saguna Brahma. But here it is talking about the Nirguna Atma Tattvam. Atmani avasthitam enam pashyanti yadantaha. So these people put forth the effort. Yeah, and yes, we can appreciate this now. Such an intense, committed effort is not possible without withdrawing from other distracting sources in life. If I'm committed to various things in life, I have to attend this function, that party, this meeting, that conference. How can you commit yourself to a period of consistent, systematic Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam? Clearly, the shloka says it won't be possible. You will not get nishtha. No? You will get some understanding. Punyam is there. But that abiding nishtha will not be there. Yeah? And so what? If I'm doing karma yoga, I have to pursue this vision also alongside. That is the idea. Second line is describing those people who are also putting forth the effort, but they are not able to see. Yatantaha api akrita atmanaha na enam pashyanti achetasaha. Achetasaha means without chetas. Chetas means mind. So everybody has a mind. How can they be without mind? So Shankaracharya in the Bhashya says achetasaha means they lack viveka. They lack viveka and vairagyam. They are interested in so many things in the world. And so there is no one-pointedness. Eka vyavasayatmika buddhi is not there. So they will not get this ati sukshma atma jnanam. Then another word is there, akritatmanaha. To describe these avivekis. We must remember they are not fools. They are only lacking viveka and vairagyam. They can be highly accomplished scholars in life. So yatantaha api akritatmanaha. Akritatmanaha means, again there atmanaha means buddhi. Whose buddhis are akrita.
Not mature.
Exactly. Not mature. Yeah. See, kritam in Sanskrit means well integrated. We say, mature. And that is a Samskrita buddhi. But akritatmanaha are those that have an immature mind. Immature mind means what? Unprepared. Even though they are putting forth effort, yatantaha. So what is their effort now? They may be karma yogis, they may be very religious, very devotional, all that will be there. They may be doing a lot of dhanam also, but proper inquiry is not there. They have not gained the chitta shuddhi. They are not able to discriminate between atma and anatma. Yeah? So some blessing is falling short there. Maybe they don't have a proper guru to guide them, or maybe they are not doing shravanam properly, or some vairagyam is missing. So something in the sadhana chatushtayam or adhikaritvam is not up to the mark. So akritatmanaha ashetasaha na enam pashyanti. They are not able to see the subtle, transmigrating, transacting jivatma. Yeah? They will only have the gross buddhi. Gross buddhi. So you see that even if we are putting forth effort, yeah, the effort has to be made in the proper way. So that is why the Gita will stress values. Certain values are very important. Satyam, ahimsa, brahmacharya, and then Guru Seva, Guru Bhakti should be there. Yeah. And Satsanga, very important. So we have to make the proper effort in the right direction so that it will lead us to this Atma Darshanam. Now with that, shloka number 11, this topic ends. This deep topic ends. Now a new topic is going to come up from 12 to 15. 12 to 15, what is the topic? It is the topic of the glories in the universe. Yeah? Is this a new topic for us? Not at all. Yeah. In chapter 7 itself, Bhagavan has talked about how he is manifest as this glory and that glory in the world. No? Raso hamapsu kaunteya prabhasmi shashi suryayo. I am the rasa in the water. I am the light in the moon and the sun. And then in 9th chapter, I am Pita, I am Pitamaha, I am Mata. All that came. I am, the Yajna, Mantra. Then chapter 10, there is a whole chapter devoted to glories, Vibhuti Yoga chapter. Now here, in the next 4 verses, Bhagavan is going to name a few more very special glories. Yeah, let us see those shlokas. Number 12. Yada dityagatam tejaha
Yada vidyagatam tejaha
jagadhasayati khilam.
Jagadbhasayate kilam.
Yada dityagatam tejaha jagadhasayati khilam.
Yada vidyagatam tejaha jagadbhasayate kilam.
Yachandramasi yachagno
Yachandramasi yachagno
tattejo vidhi mamakam.
Tejo vidhi mamakam.
Yachandramasi yachagno tattejo vidhi mamakam.
Yachandramasi yachagno tejo vidhi mamakam.
Yada dityagatam tejaha
Jagadbhasayate kilam. Yachandramasi yachagno tejo vidhi mamakam.
Sounds familiar, the shloka? So, at least, minimum this shloka we should chant before Bhojanam. Yeah? Generally, we chant the whole 15th chapter. But this shloka, not this, sorry, it's going to come next, not this one. Yeah, so this one is still describing the glories of Bhagavan in the universe. Yeah? And we know by now that Bhagavan has manifested as this micro jiva and the entire macrocosmos. Yeah? Just now we heard that. No, I am the kshetratyaha, I am dwelling everything, I pervade everything, I am everything. Now Bhagavan picks up a few special objects in the universe. What are they? Yat adityagatam tejaha, that Now, what is Yat referring to? Supreme reality. That supreme reality, which is Aditya Gatam Tejaha. That which is the brilliance in the Aditya. The brilliance in the sun. Yat Tejaha Aditya Gatam. And that Aditya Jagat Bhasayate Akhilam. That sun, Aditya, or the brilliance really, it illumines the whole world. Akhilam means without exception. Yeah? The entire world. Jagat Bhasete Akhilam, that brilliance. Then let's continue to the next line. Yat, again Tejaha we have to supply. Yat Tejaha Chandramasi, which is there in the moon. Then Yat, again Tejaha you supply. Agnau, in the Agni. So what are the three entities? Surya, Chandra, Agni. The great luminaries. In fact, the greatest revealers or the shining luminaries are sun, moon and fire. Lightning also. So Bhagavan says that the brilliance that you see in all these shining luminaries, Tat Tejaha Vidhi Mamakam. That is mine. Only Bhagavan is allowed to say this is mine. Because everything belongs to Bhagavan. Right? All our achievements, our glories, our talents, you know. Our failures also? No, that is the Jiva's doing. Yeah. We have to, that's why I do Kshama Prarthana every day. Bhagavan has given us all the instruments to succeed and to, you know, become competent, successful, glorious in every way. But if I fail, then that is my karma, my doing. Maybe I have abused my willpower, my capacity, whatever. No, but we cannot blame Bhagavan for that. No, but any glory I win or I enjoy, it belongs to Bhagavan. So here Bhagavan is saying that that brilliance that you see, which lights up the whole universe, yeah, in the morning every day, Aditya Gatam Tejaha Mamakam, you know, and then the cooling, healing, the moonlight, Chandramasi Tejaha, which is very different, Mamakam, and then the fire, the heating quality of fire in any part of the world. Oldest part, Antarctica, same fire will burn. Right? It's not going to be less hot there. So that is Mamakam. Yeah? Now, why does Bhagavan only point out these three celestials, Surya, Chandra, and fire and lightning earlier? Because their reflecting medium is so pure. By the way, I think we know that they're also Jivas, right? So we call them as Aditya Devata, you know, Chandrama Devata, then Agni Devata, Varuna, Vayu. They all have special unique functions, right? They're empowered by Parameshwara, but their minds or their reflecting medium is so pure. And so, just like a keen mirror, how will the reflection be of the face? Very clear. So, because of the preponderance, excess of Sattva Guna in all these three, there is the brilliance. Yeah. Whereas we don't shine like the sun because of the reflecting medium. It is not as bright and sattvic as the sun. So Bhagavan is taking these examples, Aditya, Chandrama, and Agni. Okay. And so that reflected sentience in each one of them is what we worship as Aditya Devata, Chandrama, and Agni Devata. That is the Jiva there. Yeah? But even those Jivas are empowered by me, Bhagavan says, by Parameshwara alone. Then next shloka, 13th. Gama Vishyaja Bhutani
Gama Vishyaja Bhutani
Dharayamyaha Mojasa
Dharayamyaha Mojasa
Gama Vishyaja Bhutani Dharayamyaha Mojasa
Gama Vishyaja Bhutani Dharayamyaha Mojasa
Pushnami chaushadhi sarvaha.
Pushnami chaushadhi sarvaha.
Somo bhutva rasatmakaha.
Somo bhutva rasatmakaha.
Pushnami chaushadhi sarvaha. Somo bhutva rasatmakaha.
Pushnami chaushadhi sarvaha. Somo bhutva rasatmakaha.
So here, Bhagavan says, Gam avishya. I'll break the sandhis first. Gam avishya cha bhutani dharayami aham ojasa. And when Krishna says aham, what is that aham referring to? Supreme reality, Brahma. No? So I, depends on what you mean by I. When you say I am so and so, you are meaning what? This anatma-centered identity, which is on your PAN card and Aadhaar card, I. But then there is a higher I. Yeah? So Krishna has talked about I as Avatara Purusha, as the Parthasarathi of Arjuna, as a Devaki Sutta. None of those I's now. Now it is referring to Ishvara, Parameshvara, or the Supreme Reality. So here what does Bhagavan say? Aham ojasa. With this ojas is the spiritual energy, or in this context, it will be Maya. And what is the energy and the power of the Lord? Maya. That is ojasa. Aham ojasa, by the power of my Maya, Gam avishya. I have entered Gam. What is Gam? Prithvi. See, Gam is the Go Shabda in Sanskritam, and Go Shabda has many meanings. I think we saw this in Vishnu Sahasranama recently. Go means cow. Go means earth. Yeah. And Go also means Veda. Go means speech also. Yeah. Many different meanings. But here we'll take the earth meaning. Yeah. The one who rescued Gam, earth, is Govinda. We saw that. But here it is, Bhagavan says, by the power of Maya, and in particular, the power of the solar energy, Gam avishya. It takes 8 minutes, they say, to reach the sunlight to reach earth. Then what happens? All the bhutani dharayami. By my power, by the power of my Maya, yeah, I have entered the entire earth, means the universe, and what do? Dharayami. I support first. I support all the beings. Now, all the beings is sentient and insentient. Jada Chetana. I was asked by one boy in a Sanskriti class that, Amma, is there, the Supreme Reality is there in soil also? We have a lesson on soil in our school. And then what a wonderful question for a schoolboy to ask, Then I said, yes. Is there not gold in every part of every ornament? Gold pervades, is the cause of the ornament. Yeah. The water pervades the waves. So too, Bhagavan is there in every part of the universe, whether it has a subtle body or not. Soil cannot speak. We speak to soil. Soil can speak back in some intuitive way, we're not denying that, but it does not have subtle body. Yeah. But because Bhagavan is the Karanam, which is present in the Karyam, the soil. So here the first line is Ojasa. By the power of my Maya, I have entered through the Tejas of all these luminaries. I've entered the earth and I support all the Bhutani. How? Second line. Second line is Pushnami cha aushadhihi sarvaha. And we know that it is because of the sun that life is enabled on earth. Right? So because of that energy, I have entered the Gam, earth, and we have vegetation, plants. Yeah? And through the plants, aushadhayaha, aham pushnami, I energize, I nourish all the beings. And that is why we are meant to be vegetarians. Because Bhagavan has clearly said, nourishment is only veg. Yeah? So Pushnami cha aushadhihi sarva. And then further Bhagavan says, Somaha bhutva rasatmataha. Soma means, again it has many meanings. Soma means planet or the moon. We say Soma means the juice or the sap. And Soma also can mean the essence. Yeah. So here we will take the meaning of the sap. Yeah? So Bhagavan says this healing and cooling energy of the moon, I enter the earth and I fill these vegetables and fruits with rasa. I make them all rasatmataha. Yeah? And we are now, this is the perfect weather to taste that rasa in watermelons, buttermilk, tender coconut. Who has filled all this? Bhagavan. Aham pushnami cha aushadhihi sarvaha somo bhutva. Having become that healing, cooling quality called soma, which has made all this oshadhayaha rasatmaka, energizing. So you see how different energies, no? That's what they call yin yang, sunlight energizes in a different way, moonlight in a different way. Yeah? That's why in Ayurveda, some herbs, they will be dried and kept out in the moonlight, not in the sunlight, because that is a different kind of, transformation will happen with the moonlight. And also the moon is so important for the monthly cycles. It follows the lunar pace, yeah, the biorhythms in our body. And so we see very beautifully, this is the reason why the Vedas stress on ecology. Parasparam bhavayantah. Yeah? But we see in the world deforestation, global warming, how one exploits nature, not respecting this. Yeah? And these are the verses showing us that Sanatana Dharma has this reverential attitude towards entire nature. That's why we worship earth on getting up in the morning, then rivers, mountains. Yeah? Any part of nature you can take, Bhagavan is there. Equally as Tirumala and Panduranga, all those. But definitely when we go to these places, because of the intensity of devotion and the pujas, that effect is much more, makes an impact on my mind. But the same Bhagavan is equally present, everywhere. Don't you think so? Yeah, he's everywhere, equally present. Yeah, I should have the subtle mind to appreciate that in the tiny speck of dust, as well as the great Venkateshwara in Tirumala. Now Bhagavan has said that I'm in the form of food. Now a question may come. In fact, one child asked me, then are we eating Bhagavan? Are we eating Bhagavan? Next shloka I will say, which is that familiar shloka, that Bhagavan says, I'm not only in the form of food, I'm in the form of the eater also. So you are saying, eater, eaten, eating, everything is divine. Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavihi, we have seen that shloka. Let's read the next one, 14. Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva.
Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva.
Praninam Dehamashritah.
Praninam Dehamashritah.
Pranapana Samayuktah.
Pranapana Samayuktah.
Pachamyannam Chaturvidham.
Pachamyannam Chaturvidham.
Together. Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva. Praninam Dehamashritah.
Pranapana Samayuktah. Pachamyannam Chaturvidham.
Yeah, this is the familiar shloka. Minimum, we chant this shloka before eating, right? Otherwise, even chapter 15 just takes about 8 minutes. So this shloka and coupled with Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavi, which is the 24th shloka in chapter 4, are a must. Yeah, minimum. So what does Bhagavan say here? Aham Vaishwanaraha Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashritaha. So Bhagavan says that I have manifested as Vaishwanaro Jatharagnihi in all the pranis and centered on the bodies. Deham Ashritaha. That means within the physical body of all the pranis, I manifest as the digestive fire. First line. Yeah? That's why we say Agni Tattvam is in the form of temperature, body temperature, and this Vaishvanaro Agni in our body. Yeah? All the Pancha Bhutas are there. No? This is the fire Tattvam, yeah? In the solar plexus. Then second line, prana apana samayuktaha pachami annam chaturvidham. Now the digestive fire is the Agni Devata in our stomach, which is going to receive the offerings, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Yeah, it is going to offer. It needs the assistance of prana and apana for digestion, assimilation, and elimination. The malam will be eliminated. No? The gross part of the food will be absorbed in the gross body, and the subtle part of the food will go where? Mind. Yeah? So the yogis are very, very careful what they eat, how they eat, when they eat, how much they eat, whether they eat. Ekadashi better fast, because there's a universal low energy mode is there. So then it will be heavy on your system. And there are a lot of cultural significances also there. No? But then who has prepared the food? Did somebody prepare it with a profit motive? Yeah, or somebody crying and going through a bad phase in life and they're cooking and you had that food. There's a subtle impurity there. So the yogi is very, very careful. That is why we chant these mantras for Anna Shuddhi. Yeah? And if you go to McDonald's, God forbid, then the mind will be affected in a very negative way. Negative impact will be there. We may think once in a while, okay, pizza, burger, all these things, But if you have to have it once in 1 year or something, then chant prayers. Yeah? Otherwise, cook your own food. And the amount also you have seen, no? Half the food, half the stomach space with food, 1/4 water, and 1/4 empty. Yeah? But here, Bhagavan says that I am present in all the beings as the digestive fire, and my assistants are prana and apana. And we know that prana is fivefold, no? Prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana. And samana will digest the food. And apana will push out the malam. There's a popular saying, Jaisa an, Vesa man, Jaisa pani, Vesa vani. So even water, if you put it in a copper pot, if you chant mantras, just hold it for a few seconds before you're giving medicine to somebody, or you also drink it sip by sip early in the morning. It says it can do wonders to the mind and to the speech. The speech will be very sweet and pure. Upanishad actually describes all this. And so here, then what is the kind of food? Bhagavan says, I am going to digest the four-fold food. Carbohydrates, minerals, vitamin, fat? No. That is our modern four-fold classification. It is Bhojyam, Bhakshyam, Choshyam, Lehyam. I have mentioned this before. So the 4 kinds of food are, one is Murukutatai, which has to be chewed. That's why we need our, what do they call, molars? The teeth, to bite. And the old people cannot do that, no? So they can't enjoy Murukku anymore.
Everybody can
That's a dentures.
implanting teeth.
With, dentures we can. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Without teeth, how difficult, no? It is, even the speech is sometimes not clear.
Yes.
Dental aksharas will be a problem. Then bhakshyam will be a problem, But yeah, today everything is possible. Then bhojyam is to be drunk. Lehyam is to be licked. Ice cream, honey. And then choshyam, sugar cane, drumsticks. Drumsticks is suck, no? And tender coconut also if you drink it through a straw. So Chaturvidham Annam Aham Pachami Prana Apana Yuktaha. Endowed, with these 2, I digest the four kind of food. So now we have seen that, the Vaidikas and maybe some of us also, we chant prayers, at meal time, and especially to remove these impurities. But here Shankaracharya also says that, why do we chant before meals is to make Bhagavan the Karta Bhokta. Bhagavan is eating, he is enjoying. So if there are impurities, they will go to Bhagavan. Very intelligent. So you are free from Kartritva Bhoktritva. So we don't eat for pleasure. We don't eat in a gluttonous manner. We don't eat amidst distractions or excessive talking. Yeah, because it is a puja for us. Yeah? And this shloka says it all. Yeah, it is. Yeah. So we say pranaya swaha, apanaya swaha, vyanaya swaha, udanaya swaha, samanaya swaha, brahmane swaha. The 5 offerings we do. And then we have the prasadam because we have offered it to Bhagavan in the form of Vaishvanaro Agni. So that is why yogis are very, very careful about the intake of food. Then we have one more shloka under this topic. And this 15th shloka of the 15th chapter of the Gita is very important. And we go back to the Trishtuk meter here. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishtaha.
Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishtaha.
Matta smriti jnanam apohanancha. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishtaha. Matta smriti jnanam apohanancha.
Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishtaha. Matta smriti jnanam apohanancha.
Vedaishcha sarvairahamiva vidyaha.
Vedaishcha sarvairahameva vidyaha.
Vedanta kritveda videva chaham.
Vedanta kritveda videva chaham.
Together. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishtaha. Matta smriti jnanam apohanancha. Vedaishcha sarvairahameva vidyaha. Vedanta kritveda videva chaham. Sarvasya cha aham hridi sannivishtaha. Easy to understand. So, Bhagavan is talking and saying, aham, again aham as the supreme reality, sarvasya hridi aham sannivishtaha. I am in the hearts hridi of all. And this is nothing new now for us. Kshetrajnaha, Bhagavan has said chapter 13. And here also we saw mama eva amshaha jivaloke jivabhuta sanatanaha. Here sarvasya cha aham hridi sannivishtaha. I am in the hearts of all as that core atmatattvam. Then mattaha means from me, asmat shabda. Mattaha, from me are these 3 things. Smritihi, memory. Jnanam, knowledge. Apohanam, memory loss. Forgetting. Yeah? Forgetfulness is called apohanam. These 3 things are there. We'll just complete the shloka. Vedehi cha sarvaihi ahameva vedyaha. Vedyaha means to be known. I am the topic. I am to be known by all the Vedas. Sarvaihi Vedahi cha ahameva vedyaha. So I am the topic. Whether it is Karma Kanda or Jnana Kanda, you are worshipping me. Karma Kanda, I am worshipped as a giver. And Jnana Kanda, I am worshipped as myself. Atma. Finished. Then Vedanta Krit. I am the creator of this entire Sampradaya. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam. Who started the Guru Parampara? Who started this percolation of knowledge? I have started the entire tradition, teaching tradition. Dakshinamurti to the Sanat Kumaras, and Narayanam That lineage is also there. Then Vedavit. And what else am I? I am also the knower of the Veda. The one who has really studied the Vedas and who knows me in essence, I am his or her Swarupa. Because Mahavakya has been understood. So I am everything. Yeah, so this is a very, very profound shloka. And let us see a little bit of the first line. Sarvasya cha aham hridi sannivishtaha. I am in the hearts of all. And that just means that aham sarvatma. I am the atma of everything. I am the atma of the soil, water, mountain also you can see. Yeah? But the insentient jivas, they cannot know that, right? They cannot know themselves. But the sentient jivas, I'm equally there as Atma Tattvam, and they can strive to know me in their hearts. So, Sarvasya cha aham hridi sannivishta over. Then from me is Smriti. Smriti is memory, Jnanam is knowledge, and forgetting. So here, what does Bhagavan mean is that from me, Atma is knowledge. This is also easy to understand because I make the mind sentient, right? Only then the mind can get knowledge. The sense organs will bring in Shabda Sparshadi, object, the data to the mind. Yeah? But how can the mind compare, contrast, interpret the data and come to conclusion, yes, I like this, I don't like this, I want to do this, I don't want to do that. Mind is matter. It has to be empowered by me, Bhagavan says. So I am behind every kind of knowledge. Not only Vedanta knowledge, but worldly knowledge also. You have been given a buddhi by me, and the buddhi has a capacity to gain knowledge. So Mattaha, from me is knowledge. Then Smriti, memory. Memory is also from me. How? Because the mind has a chittam. Chittam is the database. No? The database has all the recordings of all the Zoom sessions. And it will never run out of space. Yeah, our chittam. The chittam is an infinite database of countless lifetimes. Everything is there. So smritihi, memory. So when I, recall something from my childhood, I think generally we all remember only from this birth, right? There are a few freak instances where some people remember a previous birth and they will take their current parents and say, this is where I was born. These were my parents in the past janma. Very freak instances are there. And there are these, past life regressions people do in order to find out who or where they were in the past lives. And there's a whole method to do that. Never do that. Better not to do that. That is why Apohanam is a blessing. Bhagavan has pulled down the shutter for us from our past lives. I could have committed a murder or gotten away from a theft, and then now I know that I will be punished. Then I will not have a moment of peace, right? So Smriti is memory. If I'm able to recall things in life, then I have a strong Smriti. And Bhagavan says that comes from me. Because I am blessing as Medha Shakti in your mind. Now let's come to Apohanam. Now, as we age, are we not forgetting things? Yes. Yeah. Not only older people, younger people are also forgetting a lot these days. Because distractions. This is the age of distractions, gadgets, and multitasking. And so the mind is filled with clutter. So when a mind is cluttered, when it is anxious, then we forget names. Remember, before the mobile phones, did we not remember the 9 or 10 digit landline numbers? It was not 10 digit, it was less. 8. We had such a Medha Shakti then. Now we don't remember our own mobile numbers. Sometimes, So Shankaracharya makes an important point here. He says that forgetting somebody's name in a function, and you feel embarrassed, that's because of your papa karma. At the right moment, you have forgotten the name. The student has forgotten the answer to the question at the right moment during exam. And that happens also because of me, Bhagavan says, because I am distributing the karma phalam. They are getting the papa karma phalam, experiencing it, and karma, who is distributing the karmas? Me. So, mattaha eva apohanam. And if we have a good memory, which happens by chanting Medha Shakti, by mantra repetition, by sattvic food, by meditation, and not doing too many things. Then we have the other two, Smriti and Jnanam. Okay, this is the main interpretation by Shankaracharya. But then another interpretation is given, even if I forget, like we saw the case of dementia recently, So in a dementia patient, they don't remember the names of their family members. They don't remember where their house is, so they get lost. There is definitely apohanam there. But Bhagavan says, even in them, the power of consciousness is shining equally. And it is a witness of the forgetting mind. Did you get that point? There is a Sakshi bird there also, which is a witness to what all I remember and what all I've forgotten. That is the most important Sakshi. So forgetting happens to everyone, to some people in a very deep way, like in dementia and all that, which they say is reversible now. But there is a presence in us which knows both, which knows the memory, what I remember and what I forget, and I'm that. So that is how profound it is. Yeah. Then Puja Swamiji gives a very unique interpretation, and with that we will end. Swamiji says, if I remember everything in life, what I did in the past, what I did in this country, I traveled, I did this job, I was this person, that person. Where is the place or space for Vedanta? So, yeah, not to forget. So here, Swamiji gives the meaning for apohanam as the capacity to suspend ideas and notions of yourself, so that we can invite new knowledge. We can make space. Yeah. So what happens to that old knowledge? It will go to subconscious mind. It is there, but I don't need it at the moment. So that is why nowadays, people are saying, have a second brain. I recently saw an interesting video on YouTube. Very interesting it was. Have a second brain. What does that mean? That means don't put unnecessary information on your current brain, like passwords. Only yesterday I wrote down about 20 of my passwords and I pasted it on my clothes cupboard. I'm not going to remember all of them, right? Unnecessary. Then where is your passport and this, that? So you can delegate. So second brain means you put all this information on a notepad or in a notebook. Better is notebook. Keep it there for reference, but don't forget where you kept it. That's another problem. Like, the key, you keep it in a secret place. Then that apohanam will be papa karma phalam only. Okay. So Swamiji would say that one has to be free from the old notions. I used to be like this, I used to be like that. Because Vedanta is going to challenge every notion that you're holding about yourself. It is going to make us zero. But that zero is not shunya, it is puja. Puja means Atma Tattvam, Purnam. That is the glory of apohanam. So it's a blessing that we don't remember our past lives. It's a blessing that I'm able to even, suspend whatever I've learned so far, worldly knowledge. I'm able to, give them up so that I can make space for prakriyas, for Vyakaranam and Gita chapters and all this, the vision of Vedanta. So we'll stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.